have to try and resist the temptation to do that. You know, if you're living in Spain, you're here for the long haul, you've got to try and invest in Spanish culture and, you know, through TV series and TV shows and the news and documentaries and all these kinds of things. It's really important to kind of invest in that. And I'll tell you why, because people talk about TV shows as you do in your home country. So you go out with a group of Spanish friends for drinks and, you know, you can almost guarantee that someone say, oh, did you see the latest episode of Casa de Papel? Or, you know, it is important. And otherwise you're just completely left behind. You haven't got a clue what people are talking about when they're talking about TV. The other thing that I find useful about watching Spanish TV is it kind of introduces you to who the famous people are and who the celebrities are and who the actors are in Spain. Because, you know, to be honest with you, in my experience, when I was living in the UK, I didn't really watch any Spanish TV at all. I didn't watch any TV shows. I watched Spanish films, Spanish movies. So I knew who Penélope Cruz was and I knew who Javier Bardem was, and very well-known Spanish actors. But, you know, the kind of day-to-day celebrities that appear on quiz shows and talk shows and chat shows and soap operas and that kind of thing, I had no idea. And it was quite funny because, you know, when I first moved here, and we live in the centre of Madrid, and it's actually quite a common occurrence walking around the centre of Madrid that you do see famous people walking around, and you see them in bars, and particularly in my neighbourhood here in La Latina, where there is a big well-known theatre. It's not unusual to see famous Spanish actors after their show having a drink in the bars nearby. Certainly in Malasaña, well, all over Madrid, you're bound to see famous Spanish actors, TV personalities, celebrities, whatever you want to call them. And I remember numerous times, you know, walking around with Karina, and she says, "Oh, look! Did you see who that was? Did you see who that was?" And I was like, "No, who the hell is that? Ni idea." And she said, "Oh no, didn't you realise that's the actress from, I don't know, Velvet, or that's the actress from Las Chicas del Cable?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, really? I wasn't quite sure." That you don't know. It's quite a good way of, you know, genning up and getting to recognise who the kind of well-known and famous people are in Spain, because again, it's something that people do talk about as well. Imagine, let's say in America, for example, imagine, you know, not knowing who David Letterman is, or imagine not knowing who, I don't know, Ellen DeGeneres is. It does give you that quite useful and important connection to mainstream Spanish culture. So let's start with our excursion through 14 Spanish TV shows. To kick off...
Señores, acabamos de entrar en aguas internacionales.